Hello listeners, in this topic we would talk about job interview step by step. Advanced preparation. Prepare in advance because your interview starts even before you enter the office. Now let's start with the step 1. Step 1 is to understand yourself. Take an inventory of your attributes. Education, experience both paid and unpaid. Accomplishments and achievements. Skills and competencies. Community service. Clubs and organization. Extracurricular activities. Work ethics and values. Step 2. The next step is to create your personal profile, which includes a professional resume and your case history, etc. Look for ways to put a positive spin on your career history. Create a powerful, competent and experienced image by using action words to describe yourself and your accomplishments. While creating your personal profile, give yourself all the credit you deserve. Be totally honest, but don't shortchange yourself by underestimating or minimizing your accomplishments. Have a professional critique of your resume. Now step 3. Know the position. Before applying, make sure you and the position are a match. It should be vice versa, that is, not only you should match the position, but the position should also match you. Duties of the position, compensation range, location, work schedules, benefits. Next is step 4. You should know the organization. What is the organization's name? Whether is it private or public? What products or services are offered? The key management team. Now, where to find organization's information? Through the organization website. Search engines like Google, Hoover's, AOL, etc. The college placement office. The networking, the library and newspaper archives. Now the final step, the step 5. This step includes the following. Here are some general tips. Map your route to the interview site so you are not late. Appropriate business attire is a must. Refer to your achievements often before your interview date so they are fresh in your mind. Know your answers to probable questions before you walk in the door. Now, few more tips. If you have access to a video recorder, tape a mock interview so you can see your non-verbal communication. Practice, practice and practice your answers and your delivery. Ask others to critique you. As I said, if you have access to a video recorder, tape a mock interview so you can see your non-verbal communication. The image you project and how you present yourself will be either a deal maker or a deal breaker for sure. Think about questions you need to ask. Write them down to jog your memory. Here we will talk about few questions which are legal and few questions which are illegal to be asked from the interviewee. It is important to understand the concept of legal versus illegal questions. Any company wishing to avoid charges of discrimination knows that there are some legal minifields to avoid with respect to interview questions they may ask applicants for positions. Now, take a look at some illegal questions. That's an unusual name. Is it Polish? Would you have trouble working for a supervisor who is younger than you? What are you? About 50 or so. The interviewee cannot comment on your name or age. These all are illegal. Now some more questions. Do you have children? The job requires frequent overnight travel. Will your family obligations prevent you from meeting this requirement? Both of these questions are illegal. Now here are some questions related to crime, conviction, etc. are considered as illegal questions. Like, have you ever been arrested? In what branch of military did you serve? Both are illegal questions. Now asking questions related to one's race or disability are also illegal questions. Like, I see you grew up in Utah. Are you a Mormon? Will your disability prevent you from bending and stooping? Both are illegal questions. Now some typical and not so typical job interview questions. Tell me about yourself. Don't ramble. Stay focused on those things about yourself that make you the best qualified for the job. What are your strengths? Make sure you know what they are before you get to the interview. Make a list. What are your weaknesses? Careful about this one. What you say can and will be held against you. The other job interview questions are: how would your current or last boss describe you? Be honest, they may be talking to him or her. Describe the attributes of the worst boss you ever had. Treat this like a mini field. A misstep could blow up in your face. Try to put a positive spin on the negative attributes. Typical and not so typical job interview questions. Describe a conflict or disagreement you have had at work and explain how you handled it. How do you react to criticism? This is not the time for ego. Give an example of a risk you took at work or school and how it turned out. What did you learn from the outcome? What is your managerial style? Why do you want to leave your current employer? Say positive, only positive. A prospective employer doesn't want to hear a litany of grievances against your current employer. What was your most important contribution to your last current employer? What accomplishments in your life are you most proud of? Would you hire you for this job? Why? Why should we hire you over other finalists for this position? Of course, you won't know their credentials, so focus on your own. What motivates you? How do you motivate others to achieve their personal best? Keep in mind that motivation is internal. You can only motivate yourself. Now, the behavioral based interviewing. In this, we basically test candidates' soft skills. In behavioral based interviewing, a situation is given to the interviewer and how he tackles the situation is assessed. For example, to test a candidate's coping skills, the interviewee may put a question like, describe a high pressure situation you had to handle at work or school. What happened? Who was involved and what did you do in terms of resolution? To check tolerance of ambiguity, give an example of a time when you had to deal with frequent and unexpected changes. What does this say about your ability to work in an ambiguous or unstructured circumstance? Here you can see an example of checking versatility of a candidate by putting a question to interrogate the same. In work situations as in life, we sometimes have to compromise. In work situations as in life, we sometimes have to compromise to make things happen. Tell me about a time when you felt it necessary to compromise your own immediate interest in order to be flexible and tolerant of another's needs. In this type, leadership skills are assessed like energizing, team building, etc. Now for energizing, give an example of a time when your positive attitude caused others to be motivated or energized into action. Be specific. And for team building, building a team spirit to get results is often difficult. Tell me about a time when you had your greatest success in building a team spirit. What specific results did the team accomplish? Leadership influence. Give an example when you first used fact and reason to persuade others to take action. Be specific. Give an example of a time when your communication skills were powerful enough to enable you to influence the way others thought or acted, even in a very difficult situation. Give an example of a time where you actively designed several solutions to a single problem. Give an example of a situation where you were inventive and explored new ways of thinking. What was the outcome? This is the example of creativity. Decision making or decisiveness. Give an example of how you reached a practical business decision by an organized review of the facts and weighing up options. Give an example of a situation where you had to stand up for a decision you made even though it made you unpopular. Now the personal work habits. Commitment to task. Describe a time in which you were able to be very persistent in order to reach goals. Give an example of how any specific time in which you found it necessary to give long hours to the job. Goal setting. What has been your experience in defining long and short range goals? Tell me what specific goal was set, how was it set, and how successful you were in its achievement. Organization and planning. Many positions have well-established standard methods to help you do the job. Give an example of a time when you found a systematic method for solving work problems to be a good routine to follow. How did your planning help you deal with the unexpected? Now the communication skills. Interaction. Being skillful in dealing with others on the job is an important factor in being productive. Describe a time when you were successful in dealing with another person because you built a trusting and harmonious relationship. In communication skills, written and spoken communication is assessed. Spoken communication. Careful listening and effective communication go hand in hand. Tell about a specific time when your ability to listen helped you communicate better. Tell about a specific experience of yours that illustrates your ability to influence others verbally. And the written communication. In some jobs, it is necessary to document work thoroughly. Give an example of a project you completed that required detailed written documentation. In short, to achieve success in an interview, there are the points you need to take care of. You know yourself and what you have to offer. You know you and the position are a match. You know the organization's history and the benefits you would bring to it. You have prepared a professional resume. You have practiced your delivery. You have selected appropriate attire. You know answers to the probable questions, including behavioral based questions. You have practiced your smile, eye contact, and firm handshake. You have made it to the interview site on time. This organization couldn't live without you. I assume you're ready for an impactful interview. Thank you so much. You're hired. Thank you, listeners.